All right. Good evening, everyone. How are you tonight? I hope all of you are doing well and staying healthy. I'm very excited to be here with you all, but right now it's virtually all the way from Davao City. And as you can see, it's very amazing what technology can do whenever it comes to learning sessions like this, as I am able to add value to your evening no matter where you are right now. So I just want to know our attendees for tonight. Where are you currently joining us from? So can you please type in your city or the country if ever you're outside of the Philippines? Sige nga, can you please type in so I'll know where our participants are tonight? So we have here people from Laguna, Baguio, OFWs in Dubai, some are in Quezon City, another OFW from Brazil, uh, people from Taguig, Muntinlupa, uh, yun, from Visayas naman, from Toledo, Cebu City, no? So, yan. Others are from Cubao, Baguio. Ito naman, I think sa Mindanao naman to, Pagadian City, no? So, ito, kababayan din, Davao, no? So, again, thank you so much for your participation and attendance tonight. I'm happy to see that many of you here are actually curious to learn how to manage your portfolios. And I'd like to welcome the 40 participants that we have tonight. And this is a very special webinar entitled From Fright to Fortunes, a fear-free guide to portfolio management. No? So, lalo na if you have quite a diversified portfolio already, I hope this webinar can help you conquer some of those fears. Though hindi naman talaga mawawala dyan because of uncertainties. But my goal for you tonight is to teach you how to maximize your returns. And we can do that by minimizing our risk. All right. And allow me to introduce myself first. I consider myself one of the lucky ones in life kasi pagkapanganak ko pa lang po, meron na agad akong Billones. Again, my name po is John Philip Billones. You can call me JP for short. No? Sa pangalan pa lang po yan. And just a little bit of backstory, I used to have an above average paying job. Pero for some reason po, hindi pa ako nakapag-ipon ng pera. And worse, I was even drowning in debt. Pero yung ibang tao, parang wala silang problem when it comes to handling their finances. So, tinanong ko yung sarili ko, ano ba yung ginagawa ng mga taong may pera na hindi ginagawa ng mga taong baon sa utang? So, that question led me to become a personal finance and investment literacy advocate. My passion and purpose is to help more Filipinos like you appreciate yung value ng pag-iipon ng pera and consider investing to achieve their financial goals. Even though what we're going to discuss tonight is beyond financial literacy already, I'd consider this a little bit of an intermediate level discussion because you're probably interested how to manage your portfolio because you already have a portfolio. I currently serve as the business development section head for the Mindanao desk of Securities, which is the stock brokerage house of the Metro Bank Group. So for all of those here in Mindanao no na umattend sa webinar tonight, if you ever have any mga if you need any assistance sa account niyo or you need guidance or insights, I'm just one Viber chat away, no? So because you're my responsibility. But syempre, with the advent of online ng mga technologies, I get to serve din naman beyond Mindanao. And as you can see from my professional certifications, yung circle of competence ko lang po revolves around the topics of saving, budgeting, financial goal setting, investing sa stocks, pooled funds ba yan, bonds, or for mga medyo active traders out there, I also know a little bit of technical analysis. And this year, I also became a bona fide member ng Finance Educators Association. It's more of just alignment of values and goals in life. No? And over the years, I've had the privilege of working with FirstMetroSec, where yung goal po namin is not just about financial success, but we want to empower individuals like yourself, no, with the knowledge and tools that you might need to make informed investment decisions. Lalo na po sa amin sa business development and market education team, we have opportunities like this to inspire people, no? Either we upgrade their money management skills or even create awareness of the many investment opportunities out there. Importante dyan, they are legitimate, affordable, and accessible. Now, yung market education efforts namin, we aim to bridge the gap between complexity and understanding. Lalo na ito, we're going to talk about portfolio management. It's a little bit intermediate level, but I hope I'm able to allow you to digest yung mga fundamentals, and most importantly, whatever you're going to learn tonight, I hope you'll be confident in applying them to your own investing strategies. Now, I just want to share with you as well our regulators. No? So again, we're regulated by SEC. So you can check out their ERAMP, no, or their electronic registry of application for market participants. You can search for Securities there, and you can see there are company licenses. And when you click on that, you can also search for the representatives ng mga license, no, and you can see my name up there, no. So for syempre for checking of legitimacy, and yeah, very important, no, knowing the regulators of whoever is talking to you, no. And on top of SEC, we're also regulated by PSE. So you can simply go to their website, the Philippine Stock Exchange, then you go to their trading tab, then click on trading participants. We belong in the online broker category. So when you search for FirstMetroSec there, you can also find us there. Now, with this, we acknowledge po no, na yung demographics ng stock market investors in the Philippines as of 2023, medyo kaunti pa lang po talaga. Imagine with a country with more than 100 million in population, there are less than 2 million stock market accounts. So that's less than 2% of the population. Now, when you look at the distribution naman, marami sa kanila are locally employed, pero meron na rin gaining interest from OFWs and even students. Marami pa rin are from Metro Manila at 68.2%, but the rest of the country has yet to catch up. Even where I am based, dito po sa Mindanao, we only represent 5.5%. But I'm happy that I get to take part in that journey, no, na dumadami yung magiging knowledgeable about stock market investing. And I'd like to know on your end as well, guys, no, to our 51 participants right now, kayo po ba dito, meron na po ba kayong mga stock trading or any form of investment account? So can you please type yes or no? Tapos kung yes, feel free to share, no, what type of investment or sino yung broker ninyo para malaman namin what you are currently using right now. Okay, so yan. I am seeing yeses here. Yan. And I'm happy that some of you are using our platform and some of you tandem naman with our friendly competitors, which is also good. Yan, may comment pa dito, MetroSec, one and only. Ayan. All right. And I'm happy to see, no? Medyo ang iba, isa lang, iba mix of us and their mga friendly competitors namin, which is all good, no? Ang most important there is that you are already participating in the capital market. All right, so I hope, no, all of you here, whether you're an existing client of ours or you have an account with another broker, mas importante sa amin that we get to educate you because that's our brand of service. Now, before we delve into the key aspects ng portfolio management, I just want to share with you some highlights of my experience, no? So this is really my day-to-day job. Many get to invite me, be it mga schools, no, na mga academic institutions, be it mga college na mga organizations or paminsan doon sa curriculum nila mismo. So we have opportunities there na ma-educate naman yung next generation. And for me, this is where medyo passionate ako about kasi ako, I started quite late. I started at the age of 25, pero when I learned about the stuff that I knew then, how I wish may nagturo sa akin at an earlier age. Kasi alam ko that the earlier you start investing, the better yung probability that you will do well, no? But we cannot turn back time already, no? So what I'm doing right now is just paying it forward na I hope the next generation will become better money managers, become better investors, and that they get to start as early as possible. Now, not only schools, but also government agencies, no, mapa-DTI man yan, Bureau of Fire Protection, Department of Education, from pre-retirement counseling, even sa mga newly inducted na mga teachers nila, and sa mga bonds, no, usually kung mga retail treasury bonds, we get to take part as well sa Bureau of the Treasury and Embassy of the Philippines, no, sa mga OFWs naman. So I saw some OFWs here, so hopefully in the next retail treasury bond offer, you get to see us as well sa respective embassies ninyo. Baka noon ano pa on-site, but right now probably online na lang siya. Okay? And on top of government institutions, even private institutions, no? Lalo na sa this period right now na parang we're about to receive our mga specific mga bonuses, no, mga 13th month pay or whatnot, no? So some of the companies actually invite us to conduct sessions before they receive their respective bonus. As a reminder lang naman na there are more things to do with your money, not just to spend it, di ba? And overall, I've had the privilege of conducting seminars, no? Be it mga general public sessions na like this or mga external invitations like expos. As I mentioned, this is really my day-to-day job and I'm grateful for this. I'd say I'm very fortunate na ganito yung trabaho ko, no? Kasi I feel the impact, no? And I hope talaga I get to resonate with you guys. And that brings me back to our webinar this evening, which is again, from Fright to Fortunes, no? Medyo thematic lang siya because it's already November. But this is a fear-free guide to portfolio management. Bottom line dito is that portfolio management. How do you manage your portfolio? And I hope you're excited to learn already. I think that's a good enough introduction to maximize the attendance natin na at least we're now 52 participants right now. So if you have any questions during my presentation, please put them in the Q&A panel ng Zoom. All right? I don't recommend you put it in the chat box because I tend to be interactive sa mga medyo familiar on how I conduct sessions. Later even we will have an activities, no? So please put it sa Q&A para hindi natin makalimutan, okay? Rather than the chat box. So I hope you guys buckle up and let's get started. So this evening po, we are going to discuss the following. So you just know the flow of our discussion tonight. Number one, let's identify what are the different type of risks. Now, as I mentioned, we will try to maximize our returns by minimizing risk. Now, so that's very key when it comes to investing. How do you minimize or mitigate your risk? No? That leads me to the second point for tonight. How do we actually manage that inherent risk? By now, I know na alam niyo na when it comes to investing, kapatid talaga niyan is the risk. The potential returns are there, but meron yun siyang kaakibat na risk. And it is inherent. So nandyan talaga yan siya. And lastly, we're going to go through the portfolio management process. So dito medyo may activity tayo. You're going to learn how to plan your portfolio, how to execute your asset allocation, and evaluate your performance. All right, so before we move into the first half of our discussion, as I mentioned, meron tayong workshop or activity later. I'm going to flash this in advance kahit sa second half pa natin to siya gagamitin. I want you to download this free financial calculator. Just scan this QR code. It will take you whether Google Play Store or Apple App Store kayo. This is necessary for the second half of our discussion tonight. Okay, so I'll give you a moment to scan the QR code, and while we are discussing, I hope na the-download na siya sa mobile phones ninyo. Alright? So para at least makasabay kayo later, no, which is very exciting. Alright. Sige, I'll give you 10 seconds. All right. I think that's more than enough time. Now, let's talk about risk first. No? That's very important. Risk yung unang pag-uusapan natin. If we're going to define risk, this is the probability that our investment's expected return pwede siyang mag-deviate from the actual return. So while investing, we are again inherently taking on risk. So there's no such thing as a risk-free investment. No, ako I'd always caution you if someone would offer you as something na risk-free siya, because when it comes to investing, there's always risk. Again, I have to emphasize that when it comes to investing, there's always risk. So when it comes to risk levels lang, it could either be low, medium, or high risk. No? So it will just be within that spectrum. No? And for varying levels of risk, meron yan siyang direct correlation with the expected returns from that investment. So again, different levels of risk have different expected returns. But even though we have good return expectations, it may still deviate from the actual returns. So ito siya, this goes for all investment asset classes, be it money market, bonds, or stocks yan siya, it will have this inherent na characteristics. And again, as I mentioned, you may even lose some or all of your original investment. And that's how we are going to define risk. Sabi nga 'di ba ni Benjamin Graham, no? He said that successful investing is about managing risk, not avoiding it. Because again, it's very inherent. So what we can do as investors is to manage that risk. And there are different types of risk associated when it comes to investing in various na mga securities. And we're going to discuss the most common. There are tons of risks that we can attach our investments to. Pero merong mga, I think, 5 na common when it comes to investing sa bonds and in stocks. Ang first na pag-uusapan natin is the market risk. So this is the possibility that the investment's value will decrease due to market moving factors. So in essence po, prices move. It's because of the interplay between your supply and demand. That's between your buyers and your sellers. Now, prices tend to increase when there's great demand from buyers. No? Pag may malaking demand from buyers pero wala masyadong supply sa market, that's what usually happens. Prices tend to increase. And that usually happens because yung mga investors, hindi sila inclined to sell their shares. So wala masyadong supply, pero pag may magandang demand sa kanya, prices tend to increase. Now, if we're going to look at the other side of the coin, if prices also tend to decrease, now that's the other side of the coin, this usually happens when investors are actually disposing their shares or sinusuka nila yung shares nila. They just want to get rid of it. What happens there is that the supply of shares increases in the market, and if this is coupled by little to no demand from buyers, usually magpa-price war yan, no? So because of that price war, prices tend to decrease. Now, market risk is inherent both in stocks and in bonds. So this happens because again, 'di ba, si stock may stock market, si bond may bond market. So they have secondary markets. Kaya inherent yung market risk. And there are many drivers why this happens, no? So usually either company specific siya or industry specific. So as an example, I'm going to show you the price chart of Robinson's Retail Holdings or RRHI from 2016 to 2020. So if you remember, noong 2016, RRHI actually earmarked around 5 billion pesos to expand the business. And what they plan to do there is to put up 200 new stores, which are mostly mga convenience stores and mga supermarkets. And during that time period, they also acquired the generics pharmacy, around 2016. Yeah. And if you remember, they also acquired Southstar Drug in 2012. And with this, na-strengthen nila yung retail drugstore network. It might seem that they are different na mga drugstores, but they are just owned by one and the same. Now, with these positive developments, buyers buoyed the stock price from 60 pesos to an all-time high ng 100 pesos. You see that in the price chart. However, the company reported a negative net income during the third quarter of 2017. And the reason behind this is low household consumption. Syempre, this is going to be bad news for shareholders. So marami nag-lighten ng positions nila. Adding to that, it reported also lower earnings during the first quarter of 2019. This happened because it consolidated with Rustans, no? So that's one of the things or mga developments sa kanya during that time. And because of this, the selling pressure weighed down the stock price of RRHI from 100 pesos to around 70 pesos. No? So, lalo na po nung kasagsagan ng COVID, no? 2020, syempre, yung business nila, it's more of going to their drugstores to buy things or going to their grocery store to buy groceries. So, naapektuhan din yung price niya. And this boils me back to my topic, which is about market risk. Depende what's happening or what's happening to the economy, what's happening to that industry or that company itself, it can either have a positive impact or a negative impact on the stock price. Now, after discussing that, let's talk about inflationary risk. This is the second risk that we're going to talk about. And this is the possibility that the investment return will be less than the inflation rate. 'Di ba? Tayo, people who invest, whether be it stocks or bonds siya, we are doing that because we want to grow our money. And the first hurdle that we usually want to beat is actually inflation. However, in the lifetime of our investment, the returns that we get may be lower than the inflation rate. And that's the inflationary risk. Now, this brings me to my discussion. There are two types of returns. We have first nominal return and we also have real return. For example, nag-invest kayo in a portfolio that generated an annual return of 10% last year, no? That's your nominal return. You have a nominal return of 10%. Pero during that year, merong inflation na nangyari. Average inflation last year was 6%. So if you're going to deduct, no, 6% from the 10%, yung real return nyo is only 4%. Now, sometimes medyo kulang yung discussion natin if we're just going to talk about the nominal return. Paminsan mas may meaning if we talk about the real return. And the real return is just your nominal return minus your inflation for that specific period. And kailangan natin ma-beat yung inflation and that's the reason na dapat ma-deduct siya doon sa nominal return before natin makukuha yung real return. Now, just to give you an insight, no, since we're talking about inflation, bago lang din to, no? I think it was just announced this week. No? Yung inflation print natin, it inched up from September 2024's 1.9% to 2.3% year-on-year last October 2024. So the good thing about this is that this is just in line with consensus estimates. Kasi I think 2.3 talaga no yung estimates ng consensus. Tapos pasok din siya doon sa monthly forecast range ni BSP, which is actually 2% to 2.8%. Tapos not only BSP but the government itself, yung target range niya naman talaga is nasa 2 to 4%. And right now, yung average headline inflation natin is nasa 3.3%. No, year to date pa siya. So we have 2 months more, but right now it feels like we're in that range, no, between the 2 to 4% target ng government. Now, I'm discussing this because again, in order for us to have a positive real return, our nominal returns should be higher than the average inflation rate for a certain year. Okay, so with this discussion, for example, if your portfolio is doing less than 3.3% right now, you have a negative real return. So for you to be positive, I hope your portfolios are doing better than 3.3%. Now, that's just for this year. But we're talking about something na long-term investing, no? So tingnan natin, no? Let's simulate. No? Let's say nag-invest tayo ng 100,000 pesos in 1 year na mga time deposits, 1 year na treasury bills, or mga 5-year treasury bonds, and the PSEI in 2,000. So, tingnan natin, no? Through the years, up till the end of 2023, magkano na siya thereafter. So, you already have the simulation there. Yung black line is the performance of the time deposits. The red line is for the treasury bills. The blue line is for the 5-year treasury bonds. The green line is for the PSE index. And the yellow line is the inflation. So as you can see po, over the long term, stocks have healthier growth and have higher rate of return. If you're going to compare that among the investment alternatives that I mentioned here. And most importantly, no, the main reason na why I'm discussing this is that we wanted to check if it was actually able to beat inflation. No, so over the long term, it did. No, ang layo. No, 400,000 pesos plus versus 240,000. So definitely na beat niya over this time period. And as you can also observe from this graph, hindi naman all the time ganon, no? There were actually periods, lalo na po sa simula, no? Other asset classes have actually performed better. So what I'm trying to say here is that we need to diversify. Even though the stock market has been performing really well, but this is just for the long term. But there are instances that you see there, lalo na sa mga early years, that it has actually underperformed other investment alternatives. My point here again is to diversify. And in all points of our investing life, it's some people kasi ganito, no? They got really excited about the stock market. Lahat ng investments nila nasa stocks. When I started, ganun din ako. But I realized na very important to diversify. That's one way to lessen your risk. And I experienced that really during the pandemic. No, fortunately, nagkaroon ako ng allocation sa bonds before pandemic happened. Even though I did not anticipate it, parang I just tried it out and na feel ko talaga during pandemic the importance of having bonds in your portfolio. Even though it might not have that capital appreciation talaga, but it provides stability and regular income talaga. All right? And as discussed in the previous slide, no, yung inflation kasi, no, may yan siya, parang may pinsan, no? It actually moves kasi along with interest rates. So, kasi 'di ba sa si BSP, that's one of its mandate. One of its mandate it's price stabilization. So if hindi stable yung prices, it can actually move interest rate to manage inflation, no? We have been hearing that in the news and that's what they do. No? So because of this, no, exposed din tayo sa next type of risk, which is your interest rate risk. This is the possibility that the investment's value will decrease due to changes in interest rates. And with this, I'm going to share with you an updated graph of the interest rate ng Philippines during the pandemic, no, 'di ba? That was 3 quarters, no? 9 months of little to no business activities talaga because bawal lumabas. So BSP, what they did um to prime the economy, they had to lower interest rate. So it went down from 4.75% down to 2%. And they did that to stimulate the economy. Now, when this happens po, no, when interest rates decline, syempre, people are more inclined to take on debt. And that's the reason why it can stimulate the economy because more money flows in the economy. Now, looking at the next chapter, post-pandemic, di ba, ano nangyari? Inflation rose way above BSP's target range. It went as high as 8.2, 8.3%. That's times 4 or times 2 of the target range na 2 to 4%. So again, because of their mandate, they can actually also not only decrease but also raise interest rate. And that's what they did, no, post-pandemic to curb inflation. They raised interest rate at a very fast rate from 2 to 6.5%. And I think it has been effective kasi 'di ba, from 8% nag-cool down siya, 'di ba? I think the lowest we went is 1.9%, which is the previous month, no? So, yan. Again, at least a little bit of economics and the structure ng money flow natin sa economy, no? So, very basic lang. You don't have to dive into the details. And I'm mentioning this, the increase and decrease of interest rate because, no, for fixed income or bond investment, theoretically, there's an inverse relationship between bond prices and interest rate. All right? So hear me out. No? When interest rates are increasing, bond prices tend to decline. On the other hand, when interest rates are falling, I think that's where we are right now, bond prices tends to go higher. Now, so again, if you want to earn capital appreciation in bonds, which you can, if you trade it in the secondary market, you can strategically do this in periods when interest rates are falling. And we might be there right now. No? So the next question here is, how deep will the rate cuts go? I think that's the question that we don't know. No, we don't know how BSP will react, and we'll see when inflation data comes in month after month. I just want to note as well before we move to the next topic that if you want to lock in high interest rates, it would be best to do when the central bank are implementing monetary policy tightening cycles. Yung tipong they are raising interest rate, no? So I think we have seen the peak, no? So I think 6.5 or 6.25 yan. So usually in step din yung mga interest rates ng bonds that were offered. So I think recently you normally see bonds na mga 6%, 7%. I think may recent din na 8% siya, 'di ba? So ayun, no? So syempre, no, they usually have a premium pag ganun. So again, I hope itong mga insights na to, lalo na, no, medyo we might be in that situation right now. I hope this can help when it comes to improving the performance ng portfolio ninyo. Alright? But again, what I mentioned is in theoretically, it's not really yung tipong something na very sure, no? So a lot of things can happen. Again, balik tayo dun sa concept ng managing risk. Okay? But theoretically, this is how it usually goes. Now, this is for the bond market. Shift naman tayo sa equities market or the stock market. And I'm going to share with you here the performance of the Philippine equities market during Fed easing cycles. And I hope you'll get some insights here because this is a study done by our research team. No? So when we talk about this during this time, kasi diba right now may mga easing cycles na not only from the BSP but also from the Fed. So we think there will be market rallies driven by the policy rate cuts. No? However, when you look at history, it would tell us na yung mga rallies during rate cuts are often short-lived. And the market will underperform up until a cyclical recovery will take hold. No? So even in our sense no, sa research team namin, we think we are in the contraction phase. But even though that might not sound that good, no? Even the current levels ng PSCI natin parang bull case na ng scenario namin. But let's not forget the next chapter of the contraction phase, which is the early upcycle. Okay, so nice if you can also position in that regard. So, ayun, again, during this period, we recommend staying cautious. Kasi again, we don't know how deep will the rate cuts go. And I think nice to wait for signs, no? Hanap tayo ng mga signals of cyclical recovery. And right now, nasa earnings season tayo, so it might be good to be abreast with what's happening with the earnings of the different corporations. Okay? So, ayan, I don't want to get in too much detail, no? Let's discuss next the next risk, which we call liquidity risk. So this is the possibility na us investors will not be able to convert investments into cash as required. No? So that's the challenge, no, na di ba syempre we are invested in stocks or bonds. Pero for us to realize those gains, no, we still have to convert those investments into cash. And when that happens will be different from each one of us. So we also have to take this into consideration kasi at some point in time talaga kailangan natin siyang i-liquidate. Okay, be it na-achieve na natin yung goal natin or we want to take profit. Lalo na po if we already have significant holdings, it will serve us best if the investments that we have is liquid. Para the more liquid it is, the easier it is to turn into cash. Now, in the stock market, one metric for liquidity is the market capitalization. I guess for this slide, I'm going to need my pointer, no? Kasi hindi masyado malaki yung mga text, no? But again, one of the measures for liquidity is market capitalization. So for those na merong existing FirstMetroSec account, you can actually navigate, no, by going to quotes, then you go to stats, then you go to analytics, then you go to shares. Then you can see there the market cap of all shares, no? So you can see here si SM, no? Siya yung pinakamalaki yung market capitalization. And I think this is as of mid-year pa, no? So I don't think this is already updated, but I think it's still over 1 trillion. That's the biggest market cap right now. Now, market cap is actually calculated by multiplying the number of shares outstanding multiplied by the last price. Now, so again, this is as of June 2023. So again, for educational purposes lang, yan. That's the liquid na side, no? Yung malalaking market cap. But let's go to the other side of the coin, no? Sa other face of the world, no? So you see here again, this is just me filtering the market cap, no? Not necessarily highlighting a certain stock, no? But for educational purposes, when you look at MAHB, no? MAHB, the market cap is just 80 million, no? So ibig sabihin niyan, if you have 80 million, you can technically buy all the outstanding shares of MAHB. No? So, yan yung mga medyo extremes. You have 80 million market cap versus over 1 trillion na market cap. No? So, essentially, the bigger the market cap, it's considered more liquid than those with lower market caps. Okay? Now, this is in terms of market cap. But another thing that we can look at to check for the liquidity of a certain stock, pwede natin tingnan yung bid and ask volumes nila. So, let's try to use the same, no, para at least mas ma-internalize natin. Sabihin natin, no, ikaw, 'di ba, liquidity risk is the risk na hindi natin ma-convert yung pera natin into cash. Okay. So let's say I have sabihin natin we want to sell SM. So if we want to sell SM, we want to sell to those who are going to buy. And the buyers are actually nasa bid side, no? So you look at the bid side. Now, looking at the top 10 prices and volume, alam mo that you can actually sell over 60 million worth of SM shares. And hindi masyado magbabago yung presyo from 912 to 904. No? So usually pag iubusin mo yan, the price will fall to this. No? But again, for you to liquidate, no? What this means is that if you have 60 million worth of SM, kaya mo siyang ibenta sa market. On the other hand, tingnan natin yung MAH, no? When you look at the bid side ni MAH, no? Makita mo hindi puno, no? Hindi umabot ng top 10. Tatlo lang yung meron. So, if you're going to multiply the number of shares times the prices they're willing to buy, this is only worth 270,000 pesos. Now, the challenge here is what if may 1 million worth ka ng MAH? That's where liquidity risk comes in. No? So, yun, again, if I'm going to emphasize again, yung liquidity is the possibility that we will not be able to convert our investments into cash as required. So, kailangan mo maghintay up until may willing to buy at your preferred price. Okay? So, yan, another thing that we can look into whenever we balance our portfolios. Now, usually ako personally, kung mas liquid siya, I can give myself more room to allocate more. Pero if I know na hindi siya masyado liquid, parang it will be something that will limit me. No? So, limit ko lang yung exposure ko na hindi naman ako maiipit. Okay? So, that's the challenge. All right? So, yan, I hope you gained insights from those two examples. Lastly, we're going to talk about credit risk. Okay, last na to siya. When we talk about risk. So, itong credit risk naman, ito naman yung possibility that the borrower or issuer will not be able to pay the interest and give back the principal. No? So, medyo mas applicable to siya sa mga bonds, no? Kasi yung bonds is technically debt securities, debt instruments, so kailangan mong you are nagpapautang ka. But the risk there is that baka hindi ka mabayaran ng principal mo or madi-discontinue yung pagbayad ng interest payments. Now, one of the benchmark to check credit risk is what we call the credit rating. No? So itong credit ratings, they are given by agencies, paminsan Moody's, paminsan S&P, paminsan Fitch, or dito sa Philippines, no, Phil Ratings yung rating agency natin. So you can see here a table of their respective ratings, usually AAA, AA, no? Yan. So sometimes B, double A, mga ganun, no? So, different, different ratings will identify, no? Usually niyan, yung nasa top part, we call them investment grade. Pero pag nandito ka na sa lower part na ratings, usually junk bonds ang tawag dyan. So, yung investment grade bonds, they might offer relatively lower interest rate because they're perceived as relatively safer than the others. Pero yung credit risk mo naman is relatively lower as well. So there's a higher probability that the issuer will be able to pay the interest and give back the principal. So for example, ito, Robinson's Land actually had a fixed bond offer. This was last year, 2023, June. So it's rated by PRS AAA with stable outlook by Phil Rating. So this is a investment grade na bond, no, with a very high rating. So the chance of default and the discontinuity of the interest payments is very low, no? Parang ganun yung implication niya. Alright, so very simple lang. In summary, ito yung mga risks associated with securities. So you have market risk, you have inflationary risk, you have interest rate risk, you have liquidity risk, and you have credit risk. Okay, so as I mentioned kanina, mas marami pang risk dyan. But for the purposes of our discussion, I think this is good enough for this section. So to cap off, no, the first half of our discussion tonight, let's all remember, guys, that we can never take out all risk. There will always be risk, and our job as investors is to manage that risk. Okay, so I hope that stuck with you for the first part of our discussion tonight. Before we move on to the second part, I'm going to give you a little bit of a break, siguro mga 3-minute break, para siguro kung na-download nyo na yung app na gagamitin natin sa second half, you can grab a cup of water or CR break. But for those na wala pa, please scan these QR codes, either Android kayo or Apple kayo. So, very important to siya kasi para makasabay kayo dun sa next part ng presentation natin. So, we'll have more activity. I'm very happy, dumadami pa din, no? Kanina 50 lang tayo, now we are at 81. Okay? So, again, 3 minutes po. I'll see you in a bit. Yeah. So, 6:44 on my watch. Let's be back 6:47. Thank you. Right, last minute, then we'll resume. All right, I think that's enough time already. So, during the first part of our discussion, we talked about the risk involved in investing, be it stocks or in bonds. Now, for the second half, let's proceed with portfolio management. Again, as I mentioned from the start pa lang, no, we are trying to maximize our returns by minimizing risk. We're done already discussing minimizing risk. So let's now move on how we can maximize our portfolios through different management techniques. For our growth fund, 'di ba? I hope yung growth fund ninyo by now, I hope you have a mix between both bonds and stocks in your portfolio. Now, how do we actually manage our growth portfolio? So this is where we come in, no? First, we need to make a plan. Second, syempre, we execute that plan. Number three, we evaluate our portfolio performance. So depende na yan, no? Quarterly, annually. Ang importante dito is you have opportunities to have continuous improvement on your strategies. Now, planning starts with your respective na mga investment objectives and constraints, no? Kasi we know that investing is personal. So, we know our prime consideration. First of which is risk tolerance. Are you comfortable in taking on this much risk? 'Di ba? So, that's very important, no? Paminsan yung mga people I get to talk to, no, yung always tinatanong sa akin first is, ano ba yung investment na maganda yung kita? No, but for me, that's the last consideration. The first consideration is how much risk are you willing to take, 'di ba? Paminsan kasi sometimes we are overly confident na paminsan when we thought na ganun yung kaya natin, tapos when it happened, hindi pala tayo comfortable. So you need to understand yourself first. Next, you need to know your return objectives, no? Ano ba yung annual return that is required for you to achieve your financial goal? And after identifying your financial goal, you should be able to know your time horizon, no? So, when do you want to achieve your financial goal? And I think ito yung hindi masyado nako-cover, no? Kasi paminsan, people invest just because they want to grow their money, no? But I hope before you invest money, dapat you get to assign it to a certain goal. For example, my goal is for emergency fund. So, there's a specific time horizon. You don't know when that will happen. So, mas maganda na liquid siya. So, syempre, may limitations ka on where to put it, di ba? Pero ibang usapan if you're going to invest for your retirement, 'di ba? So yung retirement mo, that's something decades away, no? Sayang naman yung earning potential ng ibang asset class if you're going to put it in less riskier assets. No? So, yan. And next is liquidity needs. How often do you require to withdraw from your investment fund? Okay? So, hold on. Give me a few seconds. All right. So, with this investment considerations, I'd like to introduce to you the concept of the time value of money. So, the time value of money will enable us to answer questions like, how much do you really need to invest? So, baka ngayon nag-i-invest ka lang ng certain amount. Pero, have you thought about na yung investment amount na yon, aabutin mo ba talaga yung financial goal mo? Which brings me to my next question. Yung time horizon mo ba realistic? No, I'm not sure if there are people here who are within the FIRE movement, yung financial independence, retire early, no? Yung tipong gusto nila by this age, no, very early, way before 60 years old than the average. Gusto na nilang mag-retire, no? But realistic ba 'yon with what you're currently investing? So dito pumapasok po yung time value of money na concept. And we're going to consider 5 variables. So again, there's going to be a little bit of computation here. So I hope you will be able to understand this. So number 1, you have first variable, you have your present value. You have second, interim cash flow. Third, you have future value. Number 4, you have the discount rate. And lastly, the compounding periods. So just a brief definition lang ng each of these aspects. Yung present value, that is the money that you have right now that you can invest in a specific portfolio. Yung interim cash flow naman or payments, yan yung money that you intend to invest regularly or withdraw from the portfolio. Yung future value naman, that is the future amount that you're expecting to receive after investing over a time horizon. Itong annual or discount rate, that is the expected rate of return from your investment. And lastly, the compounding periods, that is the number of times or frequency that you'll be investing in your investment portfolio. So what do I mean by this? If you are investing right now, you should know these 5 things. And if you don't know these 5 things, you might be just blindly investing. Okay, so for better appreciation, let's go right to the example. Okay, so I asked you to download this app a while ago. It's very important because this is what we're going to use for the activity. When you open the app, there are many tools out there, but we're not going to use that tonight, no? But feel free to explore. Ang daming magagandang tools dyan na pwede nyong gamitin. But for tonight, let's focus on this TVM calculator or the time value of money calculator. Now, when you click on that, you will be redirected to this. This is what you will see. But this is the basic mode. What we're going to do, since this is an intermediate level na webinar, I want you to click advanced. Okay? So if you're already in the advanced, please type 1. Okay, can you please type 1 if you're already in the advanced TVM calculator? Okay, as I mentioned, activity-based tayo, no? So I hope may makukuha kayong insights and I think I'm happy, 84 na, no? So the session must be going good, no? Baka nag-invite pa yung iba sa inyo. Okay, sige. Thank you so much for that notification. So first, let's try to calculate for the present value. Di ba sa algebra, if you have 5 variables, you should know the 4 variables bago mo makuha yung isa. Okay? So let's try to find for that. So in this example, let's say gusto mo magkaroon ng 1 million. No, 'di ba? Pag tinatanong yung tao, sino gusto dito magkaroon ng 1 million? No, so syempre, ang daming gusto. Pero may plano ba? No, so ito yung parang plano. If gusto mo magkaroon ng 1 million, tapos yung ano mo is you want to have that in 5 years. The question is, how much do you need to invest today in a portfolio that can earn 10% per annum with no additional investment? So since this is the first na problem, I'm going to do it myself muna, no, para malaman nyo yung flow when we do to the next activities. So, we have 5 variables. Sabi ko, we're going to compute for the present value. So, dapat aalamin natin yung 4 na variables. So, again, next, interim cash flow. Ito yung gusto nating i-invest regularly. And in this case, based dito, it is saying that no additional investment. So, interim cash flow is 0. No, hindi na tayo mag-i-invest. Next, future value is the amount you want to achieve after a certain period of time. So this is 1 million. Now you have there 1 million. That's what you want to achieve. The discount rate is the rate of return na expected mo doon sa investment mo. It's saying here that's 10%. So that's your discount rate. But again, no, do not forget our first discussion. Your expected returns might deviate from your actual returns. But for now, let's take it at 10%. Next, compounding periods. Ito yung periods no na how you grow your money. So in this case, this is 5 years. Okay? So you indicate there 5 years. So na-identify na natin yung apat na variables, we should be able to find the present value. But hindi tayo college, no? So hindi tayo manual computation, kaya pina-download ko kayo ng time value of money calculator. So what I want you to do, guys, is to input the following sa calculator. Payments is 0. Future value is 1 million. But for this, guys, please include the negative sign para hindi mag-error. So negative 1 million. Discount rate is 10% per annum, so annually. Period is 5 years. So put there 5, then annually. So how do you know? No? And since annual itong dalawa, compounding mo is also annually. Now, how do you calculate for the present value? You just click this PV rectangle. Okay, sige. Let me know. For me to know na nag-compute na kayo, please chat your PV. Now, what's your present value? How much do you need to invest today in a portfolio that can earn 10% per annum for 5 years na hindi ka na magdadagdag sa investment mo and you want to achieve 1 million? So, sige nga, let's see. Ayan, kakaiba yung mga answers ninyo. Alright, sige. But I'm getting a little bit mga similar answers. Okay, I think nagkamali lang ng decimals yung iba, but it's okay. Alright, keep them coming, please. Okay, so yeah, let's go, no? The correct answer for this is this one. So you need to have, no? Nakatama yung marami sa inyo, no? So you need to invest 620,000 today in a portfolio that can earn 10% per annum na hindi ka na magdagdag ng additional investment for 5 years. And after that period, magkakaroon ka ng 1 million. Okay, so again, this is something na I hope, sabi ko nga, intermediate level. So this is you concretizing your investment plan. This puts you in place if realistic yung ginagawa nyo to achieve your financial goal. Okay, so let's go to the next activity. No? So let's now calculate for the interim cash flow. Ito naman another perspective. No? Yung iba kasi nalilitan ng 1 million. Let's say you want to have 10 million in 10 years. How much do you need to invest monthly in a portfolio that can earn 10% per annum? Okay, sige. What's your present value? Now, how much will you be investing? So, di ba? Right now, wala naman sinabi doon sa exercise na magkano yung i-invest mo. So, this is 0. No initial investment. But ang tanong ngayon is that, how much do you need to invest monthly? And that's your interim cash flow. How much you're going to invest in a certain fund. So, this is what is being asked. And what is your future value? Yan yung gusto mong ma-achieve. You want to achieve 10 million. So, you put 10 million there. In a portfolio that can earn 10% per annum. So, that's your discount rate. And compounding periods. No? So, in this case, since yung tanong is in month, no? For 10 years, so what you're going to do is you use 120. Bakit? Because you want to invest for 10 years, but yung mode of investment mo, gusto mo monthly siya na investment. So times 12 months times 10 years, that's 120 periods. Diba? So again, use your time value of money calculator. Lagay mo sa present value 0. Interim cash flow or payments, yan yung tinatanong, so leave it blank. Future value, gusto mo magkaroon ng 10 million in a portfolio that grows 10% per annum, annually. In this case, monthly yung gusto mong malaman na investment mo. So 120 months. Compounding is also monthly. Okay, so sige nga, please calculate for your interim cash flow or payments. How much do you need to invest monthly para magkaroon ka ng 10 million in 10 years if you're going to put that money work in a portfolio that earns 10% per annum? Sige nga, let's see. Sir, there's a question here, bakit negative 10 million? Again, that's just for you not to have an error kasi yan yung magiging future value mo. Kasi if you're going to take out that negative, usually niyan yung payments magiging negative or yung present value naman yung magiging negative. So ano lang yan siya, for you, parang something algebraic lang po, Sir Ronald. Okay? So, yan. Okay, so I'm getting answers already, medyo similar, and the answer is 48,817.40. So again guys, ang ibig sabihin po nito, kung gusto mo magkaroon ng 10 million in 10 years, tapos may alam ka na portfolio na can earn 10% per annum on average, ang kailangan mong invest every month for the next 10 years is 48,000. Okay, so again, I hope this is going to concretize yung mga investment plans ninyo. Alright, so ayan, no? So I think we can do one more, no? I have prepared, I think, 4, but let's do one more. Okay. Ito naman, future value naman yun. Yung aabutin ng pera mo in the future. So, if you initially invest 100,000 pesos, may 100 ka ngayon, tapos plan mo magdagdag 60,000 each year for the next 10 years. Ano yung estimated value of the retirement fund that earns an average of 8% per annum? Okay, so in this case, your present value, initial investment is 100K. Interim cash flow, yung regular na i-invest mo is 60K per year. Hinahanap natin ngayon, magkano yung magiging fund value mo in the future? So that's the question mark. Your discount rate, your rate of return of your investment is 8%. So you put there 8%. Compounding periods, no? Yearly yung contribution mo for 10 years. So ibig sabihin dito, compounding periods is in terms of years. So that is 10 years. Okay? So yan, yun yung mga value. So putting that in the calculator, present value mo, 100,000. Magdadagdag ka ng 60,000 per year in a fund that generates 8% on average for 10 years. So annually. So compounding mo is also annually. And what will be your future value? So click mo lang yung FB, leave it blank and click FB. Sige nga, let's see your total, what's your future value? Okay, I'm getting answers already. Okay. Okay lang yung may negative, as I mentioned, di ba? Okay lang lagyan ng negative. But syempre, no, hindi na nag-grow nga yung value mo. So, algebraically, let's take out the negative na value. It's okay, no? Ano lang yan siya, something algebraic doon sa back-end formula that we don't have to compute brute force. Okay? Sige. Okay, so that's over 1,000,000 pesos. The correct answer is 1,085,086 pesos and 25 cents. So again, what does this mean? Kung gusto mo magkaroon ng 1 million in 10 years, tapos may 100,000 pesos ka ngayon, pwede ka magdagdag ng 60K each year in a fund that generates 8% per annum. And after 10 years, magkakaroon ka ng 1 million. Okay, so again, investing is personal, so I hope you will be applying this sa personal goals ninyo. Okay, so I think three exercises is good enough. But I leave this one exercise for you as a assignment. No? So assignment lang po to ha. So if you're going to invest 100K and add 5,000 pesos per month in a portfolio that earns an average of 10% per annum, how long do you need to save to have 1 million? Okay, so just do the same process and you will arrive at this answer. So again, I'll use this. Please screenshot na lang. This will be your assignment. No? Parang teacher, professor talaga. May assignment pa. But I hope through activities mas naiintindihan ninyo. And sabi ko nga, for me, when you understand the time value of money, this will help you concretize your plan. Kasi if before, hindi nyo alam na merong ganito, you might be thinking na yung ginagawa nyo ngayon is already for you to achieve your financial goal. Pero I hope hindi too late, no? Na pagdating nyo doon ay hindi pala enough. And how do you know if you'll be able to achieve it? Enough ba yung ini-invest mo monthly? Okay ba yung initial investment mo? Ma-achieve mo ba yung future value niya? It circles down to the 5 elements of your time value of money. Okay, so I hope you're learning. Sige nga, if you learned something, please type learn. So I hope makakatulong to sa inyo ha, as much as it has actually helped me. So again, in the concept of the time value of money, we're considering 5 things. So my challenge to you right now is I hope you know your 5 things. So you need to know your present value. You need to know how much you can invest on the interim. You need to know how much you want to achieve in the future. You should know how much your investment is growing on average and how frequent, or how long is your time horizon or compounding periods. Okay, so ayan, I leave it at that. So that's your concept of the time value of money. And I hope you enjoy using that calculator. Kakatuwa yan kung bored kayo or something. Daming tools dyan that can help you uh, uh, know your numbers. And when it comes to finance, you need to know your numbers. Okay. So after planning, itong time value of money, this is the planning, kasi hindi pa to, we're just simulating stuff, na pwede nating gagawin, di ba? But after planning, it's very important na you don't stick just with the plan, Move to execution. Now you need to execute your plan. And when you execute your plan, there are many ways to do so, but I'm going to focus tonight about asset allocation. So what does asset allocation mean? Asset allocation is something na you have a mix of investments, and based on the mix of investment, your portfolio return will have an impact. But in this classic na research study by Brinson, Hood, and B. Bauer, they found out that 94% of the differences in portfolio returns is because of asset allocation. Pag nagsisimula tayo sa tingin natin, di ba, na nasa security selection siya. Yung security selection is, ano bang bibilin ko ngayon? Bonds ba? Stocks ba? Or sa stocks, ano ba magandang stocks? Sa bonds ba? Anong magandang bonds? But in this classic na research paper, that has an impact, but the portfolio allocation has a bigger impact as well. So dapat tandem yan silang dalawa. Maganda nga yung portfolio allocation mo, pero baka pangit naman yung binibili mo, diba? So it goes hand in hand, but it's very important to understand asset allocation. So when you talk about asset allocation, as I mentioned, for your growth portfolio, dalawa lang yan, plain vanilla, It's a mix always between your stocks and your bonds. So you can go tactical with your stock bond ratio. So ibig sabihin, i-check mo. In this period, maganda yung economic growth. So you're expecting the companies would have higher earnings. People would have more confidence. So you can allocate more into stocks in good economic conditions. Now, ang challenge nandito is that when the economy is growing, syempre maganda yung flow ng money. It increases the inflation risk. Because there's money flowing in the system. And when the inflation overheats, balik tayo dun sa discussion natin kanina, interest rates usually follow. When interest rates go up, inflation goes up, interest rates usually follow. And when interest rates increase, di ba, ano yung napag-usapan natin kanina, theoretically, bond prices tend to go down. So, kumbaga, in periods of economic growth, you can increase allocation in stocks, you can decrease allocation in bonds. So, you do this for all the economic na mga cycles. So, balansihin mo yung stocks and bonds depende sa tansya mo sa economic condition ng country natin. That's the tactical. Now, not all of us are adept with tactical allocation. Some people prefer it to have it fixed, no? And some even say na kung fixed ka, this limits your risk. Kasi challenge kasi dito is tactical, you are confident na tama yung call mo, no? What if mali yung call mo and your portfolio will just underperform? So some people prefer to have a fixed allocation, no? So fix yung stocks nila and bonds. And if you do this over the long term, some even say that this will provide you better returns, no? So depende talaga, balik tayo, investing is personal. Now, I'm going to share with you, no? Let's stand in the shoulders of the giants. Let's start with Warren Buffett. Sabi ni Warren Buffett doon sa letter to investors niya, yung inheritance niya to his wife, ganito yung preferred allocation niya. You invest that money in 10% sa government bonds, 90% in low-cost index funds. So that tells you si Warren Buffett is a really good believer ng long-term investing sa index funds and very aggressive siya. So kaya 90% mas marami sa stocks, konti lang sa bonds. But still meron siya sa dalawa. Now, yung mentor naman ni Warren Buffett, si Benjamin Graham, if you've read the book niya, The Intelligent Investor, yan yung parang ng great book by the fundamental analyst out there. Very simple yung sa kanya, 50-50. 50% stocks, 50% bonds. So, very plain vanilla yung suggestion niya. But in the modern times, meron din more complicated like si Ray Dalio, no? This was popularized doon sa book ni Tony Robbins na Money Master Your Game. Sinabi niya doon, nag-interview siya kay Ray Dalio, ito daw yung all-weather portfolio ni Ray Dalio. 30% in stocks, 40% in long-term bonds, 15% in intermediate-term bonds, and you have allocation sa gold and commodities. Okay, so ibig sabihin medyo hindi masyado quite conservative kasi 55% is in bonds, 30% na yun sa stocks. Meron pa siyang mga commodities and gold, no? So very very dynamic na portfolio. So balik ako doon. Again, kahit sila yung pinakamagagaling na investors from the mentor to si Warren Buffett and even this hedge fund manager si Ray Dalio, magkakaiba sila ng perspective. And that's where, again, balik tayo dun sa concept na investing is personal. Now, ito naman si John Bogle. So, medyo sikat siya sa fund industry. Ito sa kanya, sabi niya, yung rule of thumb niya is your age in bonds, the rest in stocks. So, ibig sabihin, if you're 30 years old right now, your age in bonds, 30% must be in bonds. 100 minus your age, that's 70%, should be in stocks. So, pag bata ka pa kasi, we can take advantage of the growth potential of stocks rather than the stability of the bonds. Tapos, as you age, you increase your exposure to bonds. Pagdating mo ng 60 years old, your portfolio should be 60% bonds, 40% in stocks. Kasi sa retirement, mas kailangan mo na yung stability ng bonds and the regular income you get from the interest payments than the growth potential of your stock portfolio. So yan yung ni John Bogle, no? So magkakaiba talaga sila ng style, no? And I hope you will have your own asset allocation strategy yourself. And I'll take this opportunity to share how I personally diversify my portfolio. So stock bond, I actually prefer yung kay John Bogle na strategy. 33% is in bonds, 67% is in stocks. Okay? Now, very easy to manage tong bonds, but within my stock portfolio, no, dami pa nang tayong options sa stocks. This is how I also allocate it, no? Hindi yan siya all in trading or something, no? 50%, no? Half ng stock portfolio ko is in an index tracker because I'm okay with average returns, no? Mas gusto ko yung automated part of investing na I just want to invest regularly. It's okay if I missed out on very high returns as long as I'm protected as well to the very lows, di ba? So ako, I've accepted na I'm okay with average returns. Kaya 50% of my portfolio is an index tracker. pina-follow ko lang yung top 30 stocks. But syempre, yung yung ano ko, prefer ko pa din na may natatanggap ako regularly from my investment. So 30% are dividend yielding. So for this part of my portfolio, I want to earn passive income in terms of dividends from REITs and preferred shares. Na I love the feeling kasi na kumita yung kumpanya, they're giving me a portion of that. No? So 30% for that. And syempre, sometimes we get to trade as well. And meron man talaga mga undervalued stock. Sayang naman if we pass up on those opportunities. So I leave 20% for capital appreciation. Dalawa yan usually, no? Either super undervalued siya for me in my study and in my research, or yung actively traded. Pero very ano lang siya, 20% lang siya ng portfolio. Dito pa rin yung heavy ko. Okay, so again, I'm sharing this. This might not be something that would work for you. For me, this is what I feel is working for me right now. And this might change anytime in the future. So you don't have to blindly follow it. You should know how you diversify your own portfolio na align sa goals mo. Ayan, I think may mga question dito. Alright, sige. So, moving forward, ito lang yung caveat ko sa inyo. No? Whatever portfolio stock bond allocation you're going to choose, I'm going to tell you in advance na that there's no bulletproof strategy. Whatever you choose, no, you get to decide what is comfortable na stock bond allocation for you, and whatever that is, I highly recommend you stick with it. Okay, again, walang bulletproof strategy. Even si Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, John Bogle, hindi sila nagkatugma. Iba-iba yung strategy nila. So, there's no bulletproof strategy. So, maghanap ka ng stock bond allocation na works for you, no? And whatever that is, stick with it, no? And ito lang din, another ko lang din sa inyo, advance na advice ko sa inyo. Whatever you get to choose, some point in time, you will regret your decision. Sasabihin ko na sa inyo in advance. Bakit? For example, naka-fix ka na, no? 60% in stocks, 40% in bonds. Tapos bumagsak yung market. Mafe-feel mo yan, no? Na, ay, sobra yung nilagay ko sa stocks. Confident masyado ako. Sana dinamihan ko yung bonds ko. So, nag-liquidate ka sa stocks mo because nasaktan ka doon sa nangyari. Sabi mo, dito na lang ako sa bonds. At least, may stability siya. May natatanggap pa ako na interest payments. Okay? But market moves in cycles. By the time na aakyat ulit yung market, you will tell yourself again, ay, parang napasobra ata ako sa bonds. Kulang naman yung nilagay ko sa market. Umakyat na siya ng 20-30%. No? So, again, even though sabi ko sa inyo na you stick with what allocation works for you, at one point in time, I'm telling you in advance lang that you will regret it at one point. And this will happen to all of us. Kasi hindi naman tayo perfect. There's no way to tell talaga. No? So, how do you marry these two? No? I want you guys, no? Because the reason you will regret it at one point is because that's part of being human. We want it to be perfect, but come on, guys, no? We've lived long enough in this world to know na at some point in time, not all things will go our way. And we need to embrace our humanity. What do I mean there? For example, 60-40 yung na anuhan mo, na pag na-design din mo na allocation. So, ito siyang 60-40, even though it's fixed, it need not to be precise. So, give yourself some human legroom, no? Bigyan mo ng plus minus 10%. For example, umakyat yung 60% ng portfolio mo ng 10%, naging 70 na siya. Ibig sabihin, yung stock portfolio mo, umangat siya ng 10%. Pag umaangat yung market, this might be a good time to take profit. Umakyat na siya ng 10%, take profit ka. Ilagay mo, allocate mo yung profits mo sa bonds para bumalik ka sa 60-40. Okay? Tapos, if baliktad naman yung nangyari, if your stock portfolio will be down by 10%, okay? Kung may extra funds ka na pwede mo pang ma-invest, you can take advantage of these dips. you can add more kasi 'di ba kung mag-down yan ng 10%, maging 50-50% yung allocation mo. So usually when the market dips, that might be a good opportunity for you to buy. You add no to your position, ibalik mo to sa 60% para maging 60-40 yung stock bond allocation mo. And for me, that's the right thing to do. When the markets are going up, the stock market is going up, you should be selling during that time. When the market is going down, you should be buying at that time. Pero human as we are, paminsan baliktad yung ginagawa natin. No? Habang umaakit yung market, nafo-FOMO tayo. Chini-chase natin yung prices. No? So doon pa tayo bumibili sa tuktok. Tapos, hindi tayo nagka-cut loss. No? So pag bumaba naman siya, doon pa tayo magbebenta. Paminsan, more than what we can take pa. Paminsan, nag 50% down na. So, yun. Again, give yourself some leg room. Embrace your humanity, no? It happens. So, at least you have just a plan in place na what to do. And, yun, make sure lang you champion your emotions. Kasi yan yung kalaban talaga natin. Normally, yung tao, baliktad yung ginagawa nila. Okay? So, yan. So, embrace your humanity. That's my point lang for this part. So, yan. Actually, for that, tapos na tayo sa execution. No? So, and syempre, no, this is just a 1.5 hour to 2 hour lecture. Iba din talaga if you get to experience it. Once you execute your plan, mas makikilala mo yung sarili mo. You will get to understand yourself na, okay, next year, no? I need to evaluate what happened this year. So that's the reason why we have evaluation doon sa portfolio management process. Kasi we need to assess, this is what happened and this is how I felt. So I think I should adjust based on what I have experienced. And this is an iterative process. So after you evaluate, you go back to your plan. Okay, so very important yung evaluation. And yung evaluation, kung ano talaga to, this is really an investment class. Ang dami, no? From trainers ratio to ano pa yung mga ibang ratio na check natin if we have done well talaga. But I want to keep it plain and simple. Now, when you evaluate, you need to evaluate your portfolio performance versus a benchmark. For example, yung stock portfolio mo. If it's an actively managed portfolio, you're going to test yourself against the index. So that's why no, swerte lang sa FirstMetroSec platform kasi pwede mo you can overlay charts, no. For example, may investments ka sa FM ETF on an index fund na mutual fund or UITF or an actively managed fund. You can compare and contrast the performance and malalaman mo, no. So syempre naman, no, hopefully if you're actively managing your portfolio, I hope you have an alpha against the benchmark. Kasi kung underperforming ka pa din than your benchmark, which is, for example, the stock index, might as well just have gone for a index fund or an ETF nor the FM ETF. Kasi at least hindi ka pa, wala masyadong thinking involved with it. No? So yun lang, if you're actively managing your portfolio, I hope with your active management skills, you're getting an alpha above the index. But if you're not getting an alpha, sayang yung brain power natin. We could have been better off if nag-index na lang tayo. Okay? So that's something you have to balance as well. Would you be passively managing your fund or actively managing your fund? I cannot judge you. You are 82 participants tonight, so I don't know your different skill levels, no, and confidence levels. But whatever that is, you put that into your plan, no? So for example sa akin, the reason ganun yung mga diversification ko is that it's because of my personality, not because I followed it from someone else, no? So that is what I hope you will be finding right now. So again, when it comes to portfolio management, you can do it two ways. You can actively do it. You can buy individually stocks, participate in bond issuances, or you can do it passively, no? You can do this through mutual funds or UITFs. Sa stocks, you have equity funds or index funds. Sa mga bonds, meron namang mga bond funds out there na hindi nyo kailangan to do it on your own, no? So these are two portfolio management processes. Okay, so the good thing about here is that whether you choose active or passive portfolio management, you can do that with your FirstMetroSec platform. Because we're a multi-asset portfolio, ibig sabihin you get to trade stocks, ETFs, or REITs. You can even participate in bond issuances, mga retail treasury bonds or mga corporate bonds, or even no, kung passive lang kayo, you want it to be professionally managed, meron naman kami mga mutual funds or UITFs. Yeah, I hope you already have our FirstMetroSec Go na mobile app. You can download this on Google Play or Apple App Store. If you are on the go, you can uh, you can actually trade anytime, anywhere, as long as may internet kayo. And for guidance naman, within our platform, may research naman doon. So our research team, they generate multiple reports, be it you're a long-term investors or you are a fundamentals-based investors, gusto mo lang ba yung mga dividend plays, gusto mo lang yung mga may momentum. So even kung active trader ka, meron din kaming traders playbook na designed for active investors. So we have a plethora of research reports na pwede nyong gamitin whatever type of investor you are. And when it comes to bond issuances, this year merong RTB 30. If you're an existing client of FirstMetroSec, pwede kayo mag-avail nito online as an individual. So wala pa akong naririnig for this year. Probably next year na yung next tranche. So with the inflation going down, baka mas mababa siya. But as I mentioned, no, yung bonds can really provide stability to your portfolio. I experienced that during the pandemic na kahit bumagsak yung stocks ko, I have bonds no to augment it, and I hold that to maturity, so that provides stability plus the regular interest payments niya. No, but yeah, some of you might not find that attractive, but each asset has a different pro and cons niya. Okay, so not only government bonds, you can also avail of corporate bonds. So you usually get this via email, like this one, Robinson's Land. Corporate bond naman siya, usually higher yung interest rate niya than government bonds. And you only need as low as 50,000 pesos, paminsan 30,000. But yun, at least makaparticipate na kayo sa corporate bonds. And yan, on top of that, if you don't know how to manage your own stock and bond portfolio, you can go through professionally managed funds naman. And who are the professional fund managers? We're talking about ALFM, Equity, Actram, Sun Life Asset Management, Manulife Investment Management. So these are professionally managed funds na be it nasa money market siya, bond, or balance fund. So they have many things to offer to you. Hanap na lang kayo ng preferred ninyo. Ang maganda lang talaga sa FirstMetroSec is para siyang supermarket. 'Di ba sa supermarket lahat ng gusto mo nandun, pero pagpasok mo doon, you have your own cart, hanap ka ano yung kailangan mo. That's the concept ng ano namin, no, ng platform namin. And yun, stay updated, no, baka there will be more to come in the future. Okay? And with this, no, I mentioned ko rin pala, investment funds. Some of these funds are actually income-paying funds. There are funds here na they are designed to give annual, semi-annual, or some of them even monthly namimigay ng income or units, no? So parang income paying fund siya. Parang dividend siya actually pag iisipin mo siya, no? So they are designed to give you monthly na dividends, and medyo okay din yung mga returns niya. On top pa yan siya sa price appreciation potential niya. So yan, I hope you get to take advantage of this, no? As much as we do as well. And even these professionally managed funds, you don't need millions. You can start investing for as low as 1,000 pesos, wala pang sales charge, no? So if you have investments sometime here, no, baka sa iba nyo siya kinukuha, you can check it, no? Pag nag-i-invest ba kayo ng, sabihin natin, 1,000 pesos, may kinakaltas ba sila initially? So we call that sales charge. And if you're going to invest through FirstMetroSec, wala siyang sales charge. So malaki din yung matitipid nyo, lalo na if you're going to invest over the long term. And madali lang din yung pag-open ng account. So you just download our mobile app. When you download it, may sign up now dyan. So just go through the process para lang kayo nag-open ng any other mobile account. All you need to do, upload nyo lang yung documents, government ID, proof of address, proof of bank account, 3 signatures, and the initial funding na proof, no? Either via bills payment or over-the-counter deposit sa Metro Bank. So 1,000 pesos lang to get started. And pag tinanong po kayo, how did you learn about us? Please input the code portfolio. No, portfolio for us to know that you came from this webinar. And I actually get to monitor that para matulungan ko kayo with your account opening process. And once may account na kayo, you can access our platforms, be it yung classic namin, yung My, or yung mobile app namin. And I hope na I will just share this with you. I don't have to go through each one of them, but I hope our accolades tell the story already, no? We were awarded to be the best online broker, best online trading platform, most innovative na platform, tapos best one-stop shop solutions pa for leading funds, among many others. This is not something that for us to brag, but this is something na I would like to take an opportunity to thank you, no, for using our service. And sa mga hindi pa nakagamit ng service namin, please, I hope you consider it, no? So wala namang pilitan, mas importante na nag-i-invest tayo kahit sa friendly competitors namin. We're okay with that. And yan, I hope you learn a lot from my session. So feel free to invite us, no? Kung gusto niyo naman ng yung parang direct, no? You want us to conduct for your school, for your employees ba, lalo sa mga HR professionals out there, even mga schools, no, or mga organizations, just send us an email, marketeducation@firstmetrosec.com.ph. And we can do this, no? We have multiple offices nationwide from Manila, Cebu, and Davao. You'll see our representatives there, no? So let us know. And with the online technology, kaya naman online. So no need to really do a face-to-face thing. But if face-to-face siya, let us know para ma-arrange lang natin yung mga details. And baka you'd prefer to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, X, and then YouTube. No? And for those of you who are asking if this will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, yes. Please give us a few days to a week para ma-upload siya. Just scan this QR code and follow us for more updates because there will be more updates and I hope you'll be clients already by then. So just a summary of what we discussed tonight. Number one, risk is again the probability that our investment's expected return will deviate from the actual return. Okay? So syempre, pag nag-invest tayo initially, we have expected returns from it. Pero from time to time, it will deviate. And that's the risk. And risk is very inherent. It's always there. So if someone will offer you na sasabihin na risk-free investment, take a second look. Kasi there's no such thing. It could only be low risk, medium risk, or high risk. Now, as you are investing in both stocks and in bonds, I hope you do our portfolio management from planning it. No, you already know the 5 elements of the time value of money. And I hope mas klaro na sa atin, no? We have a clear picture na what are our 5 elements. Alam ba natin yon? And tweak it na lang depende sa financial needs ninyo. And most importantly, no, turn those plans into action. Execute it. You do asset allocation. I shared to you ano yung mga usual na ginagamit. I even forewarned you of what you're going to feel. So adjust nyo na lang po. Yan yung importance ng evaluation. Check it against a benchmark to know if you're doing well or not doing well. And whether you're going to invest actively or passively, pwede po yan siya sa FirstMetroSec. So with that, we'd want to hear from you. Thank you for the 76 participants na who stayed behind. So I'm happy no na parang from 30 naging 50. In the middle, we went as high as 80. So we want to hear your feedback. No? So please scan this QR code para malaman po namin how we can level up your market education experience. Pansin niyo naman na ano talaga siya. I hope it's been educational and I hope you learned a lot. So scan the QR code para malaman namin how we did well and most importantly, where we can still improve. Okay, so with that, we can already go to the Q&A. Ang daming, ang daming questions ata. No, hold on, let me go back here. So unahin po natin, as I mentioned, let's go first for the Q&A. So while you're scanning that, yeah, let's move on to the Q&A slide. So, yan. Punta muna tayo sa Q&A. Meron po bang handouts? Mahirap kasi makinig and take notes at the same time. No, so, Sir Jose, please reach out to our yung ano, I think nakalagay dito, no? There's an email here. Maybe our marketing team can include the email, yung events email natin, events@firstmetrosec.com.ph. Sir Jose, please send us an email para mapadala po namin yung slides. Okay? So, yeah. Yan. Here's an anonymous attendee. What is the logic between inverse relationship between bond prices and interest rate? So, yun. Again, inverse relationship siya. Kasi 'di ba, when for example, right now, when interest rates are falling, no? So, bond prices tend to increase. So actually nasa yields yung logic behind niya. So usually kasi there's going to be shifts, no, sa mga preference ng tao, no? Kasi for example, falling yung interest rate, then yung existing bond mo will have higher interest rate than the new bond. So usually when that happens, demand for that high interest bond increases. So when demand increases, then prices tend to increase. So, yan. And vice versa. No? Paminsan pa yan, may relationship pa yan siya from longer term bonds to short term bonds. No? So, doon na pumapasok yung topic natin about the inversion ng yield curve, but that's too technical already. So, ayun lang, theoretically, inverse relationship where the interest rates will go opposite yung direction ng bond prices. So if interest rates are falling, you can earn through price appreciation ng bonds. But syempre, you don't expect that high, no? Kasi bond market nga yun. No? So, iba pa rin yung potential returns ng stock trading, but higher risk siya. So, ganun naman talaga siya. Okay? I hope I answered that question. Ayan, saan and paano po bumibili ng investment ni Lolo Warren? Okay, so uh, are you referring po, Sir Ronald, to to Berkshire Hathaway? No? Kasi yung Berkshire Hathaway shares, I think you can only buy that sa US market. So for now, you cannot do that through FirstMetroSec. But if you're asking, di ba sabi ko kanina, 90% in low-cost index funds, ang dami. No? You can search through our FundSmart. Maraming mga index funds doon. Check niyo yung management fee. Piliin yung pinakamababa ng management fee. Or alternatively, you go for FMETF, which is technically low cost talaga siya. Kasi if I'm not mistaken, 0.5% lang yung management fee siya. But you have to factor in your buy and sell charges kasi it's traded as a stock. So, yun. Lalo na sa mga funds, I recommend lower management fee na mga funds. If mataas naman yung management fee, check niyo yung performance if na-offset niya naman yung mahal niya na management fee. Pero if I'm not mistaken, parang nasa 1 to 2% lang yan siya usually eh. So for the hassle of or the brain power it takes, baka worth it naman yung 1 to 2% per annum. Okay? Tapos yung bonds, sir, yung 10% na government bonds, again, pwede yun siya sa FirstMetroSec. You just need to wait for the retail treasury bond offering for as low as 5,000 pesos. We can avail it. Right now, wala pa po, no? So, antabayanan na lang natin next year kung meron, no? So, yan. I hope I answered your question, Sir Ronald. Another question from Sir Jose. Sir, yung capital appreciation nyo na stocks, growth ba yun or value stocks? So, yun, I think you're referring to my personal na strategy, sir, no? So, I think yung capital appreciation, yung personality ko kasi, I'm more into value stocks. So, yung 20% ng stock portfolio ko, mix siya, no? May may portion na for undervalued stocks, pero meron din yung for trading lang, pero very minimal. mas nabibigyan ko ng importansya yung mga undervalued stocks. So yeah, I hope I answered your question. But again, please guys, you should have your own, no? What works for me might not work for you and vice versa. Okay. Here another from Sir Amian. You seem to suggest that bonds or funds are more stable long term. Surefire investments for the future. There's no such thing, sir. There's no such thing, no? That's why medyo naano ako ng ganitong term na yung mga sure ball, na yung mga ganon. I think I have repeatedly said that all throughout the session na there's no such thing as risk-free or surefire ng investments. We talked about that during the first part of the session. There will always be risk. Okay, so there's no such thing. Okay, so bonds are more stable. Yes, I think so. Because yung bond kasi po, nagpahiram ka ng pera. Pinahiram mo yung government, pinahiram mo yung corporation. And since utang po siya, they are promising you to pay fixed interest payments, no? So that's why they have this term called fixed rate bonds, no? So they're going to pay you that fixed rate, sabihin natin 6% or 7% per annum. Bibigayan nila sa inyo per annum, but usually hinahati to 4 kasi quarterly pa minsan yung binibigay nila. So that is something that they promised. And after their maturity period, no, depende sa bond, paminsan 3 years, paminsan 5 years, paminsan 7, paminsan 10, paminsan 15, no, or more, depende sa offer, they promise to give you back the principal. Kasi it's a debt security, it's utang. Kaya may ganun silang element. So in terms of that aspect, may sense of capital preservation ka. Pero there's still risk, 'di ba? I discussed earlier, tawag natin doon is credit risk. So tingnan mo rin 'yon, yung pinautang mo na government or pinautang mo na company. Kaya ba nila ibigay 'yon? Kaya ba nila ibigay yung interest payment for that period of time? And kaya nila ibalik yung pera mo as they promised. But there's still risk. And as I mentioned, we call that credit risk. Okay, so yeah, I hope I answered your question. Again, I hope we change some of the terms and there's no such thing as yung mga risk-free, surefire, or mga ganun. There's always risk. Alright. Ayan. With the winning of Trump, how does it affect stock and bond performance in the Philippines? So very timely question, no? Kasi nanalo nga si Trump, 'di ba? So I think again this is my opinion. Si Trump, we know him to be quite medyo protectionist. As much as possible, give back the jobs to the Americans, 'di ba? Or ganun. Medyo protectionist siya 'di ba? So medyo siya, there's a little bit of negative impact in a sense na baka yung hot money, no? Baka it will take time before the hot money will come back sa Philippines, which is medyo dominated pa talaga tayo dyan. Not only just us, but actually even emerging markets like sila China or whatnot, no? But for me, yung politics will cause jitters, no, to the performance of the market. But I still believe that at the bottom line, you look at fundamentals. You buy stocks at a cheap na yung may margin of safety kayo, no? And it might not happen in the next few months or in the next few years, but at least you know your fundamentals, you bought those stocks at a cheap price, and time will come that it will realize that value, no? So, yan. So, yan, that's my opinion on that matter. I hope I answered your question. Ayan. I think tama. Low cost index fund, I think I mentioned that already, Sir Ronald. All right. Yan, there's a question here. Can RTB be sold in the market when you need funds and the maturity is on year 2030? Yes, no. RTBs are can be traded in the secondary market. But for now sa FirstMetroSec, medyo manual pa po yung process if you want to sell. No? So if you want to sell, you need to email us and yun, depende sa market price. We will tell you the indicative rates of the market so for that specific RTB. Then, yun, if you're okay with that, then we will sell that bond for you. For now, ganun pa po. But hopefully in the future, I will do our best na medyo baka, no? Baka magiging same na siya doon sa na-experience natin sa stocks. But for now, ganun naman talaga yung development. We start first with manual process muna. So, but yes, you can sell it at the secondary market. But again, there's no guarantee. No? Since you're selling it secondary market, it will go through supply and demand pressures. So, it's not sure that you're going to get back your principal. Baka mabenta mo siya ng mas mataas, baka mabenta mo siya ng mababa. So, that's the risk if you're going to sell sa secondary market and not hold up until maturity. And syempre, hindi ka na makatanggap ng interest payments kasi binenta mo na siya. Okay. So, yan. From an anonymous attendee, how do you identify undervalued stock? So, si FirstMetroSec Research, meron po kami mga top picks. Yun lang yung challenge kasi marami ng top picks namin medyo konti na lang yung upside kasi medyo umangat na nga yung market, di ba? So, but we still have mga undervalued stocks. You can consider our top picks. Tingnan nyo na lang sa YouTube po, meron po doong Traders Playbook. Adjust nyo na lang yung prices kasi it has been months since we published that. Check nyo yung sa research portion ng FirstMetroSec platform. Meron din kaming isang research report, yung stock screen. May isang screener doon na puro undervalued. Okay? Pero yun, fundamentals lang yun. So, sometimes hindi lahat ng picks namin nandoon din. So, yan. Kasi medyo methodical yung process noon based on the current na valuations niya. Okay? So, yan. Mataas na usapan yan, sir or ma'am, yung pag-identify na undervalued stocks. So, I hope reach out to us if you need more guidance. Okay? Yan. Try MP2. Yes. Yung pinakita ko sa inyo is just my stock bond portfolio na allocation, but I personally also have MP2, no? I'm confident to say that kasi again it's government backed, no? So yeah, lalo na for dividends, no? So good ang MP2, they've been quite generous recently. You can consider to add that to your portfolio. But best to ask your pag-ibig ng mga offices to know more about it kasi check nyo rin kung fit sa goals ninyo. Okay? Kasi baka yung iba, hindi sila satisfied or baka too conservative for them, so on and so forth. Government treasury bills has less risk. Yes, that's correct. I think treasury, basta anything that's provided by the government, nasa low end siya ng risk talaga. Kasi yung government kasi, pag sila yung pinautang mo, they can refinance that, no, para mabayaran yung debt obligations, pero may last resort kasi sila. Their last resort is the BSP. For example, no? Pero last resort siya, ibig sabihin we exhausted all the possibilities already. Ang last stop ng government is they can actually tell BSP to print money for them to pay their obligations. So because of that property, you cannot get that from corporate bonds, no? Walang power yung mga corporations to ask BSP to do that. So that's why lower risk talaga yung mga treasury bonds or in this case, I think mga bills as well. Lalo na yung bills versus bonds, I think lower risk yung bills. Yun lang, wala lang akong experience with bills pa. But to my knowledge, lower risk siya than your treasury bonds. Okay, but yeah. I hope I answered your question. Sir, is there a bond mutual fund on FMS? Yes, there are tons. No? So, punta lang po kayo dun sa FundSmart. Tapos, pagpunta niyo po dun sa FundSmart, may category doon na bond. When you go to the homepage, meron agad doon bond. When you click that bond, lahat ng available bond fund available dyan. So, pili na lang po kayo ng fit sa'yo. Some of them are fully invested in government bonds. Some of them are just invested in corporate bonds. May iba din naman na mix sila. So, hanap kayo ng hiyang sa inyo. So, again, it's a supermarket. You have a buffet of options. Hanap kayo what suits you best. Okay? Yes, tama si Sir Ramonchito. He followed up. No? Government will just print money to pay you. That's the last step. But again, last resort yan kasi ano siya, it has implications as well to the economy. Kaya ano siya. So, not that outright as well na ano. There's still risk in that economic condition. Okay, to keep it simple. Yeah. We have here Ma'am Iris. Sir, what samples of bonds giving monthly income? To my knowledge, Ma'am Iris, parang wala pong bonds na namimigay monthly. I think the most frequent that they give is quarterly. To my knowledge, parang quarterly yung usual nila. I have, but I might be mistaken, no? I have yet to hear a bond that gives monthly income. Pero check nyo, yan, yung direct bonds ha, pero baka may mga income paying funds kasi sa platform namin. Double check ko lang kung bond mutual fund yun or bond UITF yun. Yun, some of them I think are designed to give monthly. Now yung doon sa mga income paying funds hindi yung direct sa bonds. Kasi again, yung direct bonds I think quarterly lang yung ano nila, frequency ng interest payments. Okay, I hope I was clear on that. Yeah. And a question from anonymous attendee, corporate bond and preferred share. Ito na, security selection. Which is better po? Bond have 20% tax and preferred have 10% tax. Yun. On the cost basis, syempre, you might consider better yung preferred shares kasi nga 10% na yung dividend tax. Yung bond kasi have 20% kasi interest income siya. So in that perspective, kung gusto mo ng efficiency doon sa earnings mo, then you might consider prefs over bonds. If yan lang yung titingnan mo, 'di ba? Pero again, they are two different investment types, 'di ba? Kasi yung preferred share is a dividend. Even though they have a fixed rate, mas ano pa rin, mas higher level pa rin si bond. Kasi si bond is utang eh. So kung let's say something happens to the company, maliliquidate sila, mas mapaprioritize mabalik yung pera sa mga bondholders rather than the preferred shares. That's the reason why usually yung preferred shares have higher dividend rates than the interest rate you get from bonds. Pero again, since dividend siya, may mga preferred shares dyan na even though they promised na to pay this fixed dividend rate, pero syempre may panggagalingan yung dividends nila. And in some corporate instances, there might be a risk as well na hindi nila mabayaran yung dividends, lalo na if medyo lugi yung kumpanya. So, yan lang yung babalansin natin. Some preferred shares there might give you high dividend rates, but always think, no, ano yung risk with this high potential return? Usually, higher returns translates to higher risk on that certain asset. Okay, so yun, I think I mentioned a little bit of the risk, no? So, yun. I hope I answered your question. Anong oras na ba? Is it already 8 p.m.? Sorry. So, I'll try to answer more questions. I'm happy. Ang daming questions, no? So, yan. Thank you, Sir JP. You're welcome. I hope you learned a lot. Yan. Treasury bonds or corporate bonds. So, ayun po, I'll go back to my concept na investing is really personal, no? So, kung titingnan mo is interest rate, usually corporate bonds have higher interest rate than your treasury bond, but corporate bonds have higher risk. Kasi yung default risk mo mas mataas. If something happens to that industry, exposed ka to that risk. Pero for treasury bonds, you have sovereign risk. Yung concept ko dito is many businesses have to fail before the government fails. So in that aspect, medyo less risky si treasury bonds than your corporate bonds. But the question there is, ano yung kaya mong risk, no? Baka kaya mo naman yung risk ng corporate bonds rather than treasury bonds kasi you'll not get the same level of returns. sa treasury bonds than your corporate bonds. So it boils down to your preference po, Sir Emil, no? What is the risk return that you're willing to take? And whatever your answer to that question will let you know which is better for you. No? So, ganun. I hope I helped you find your answer. Ayan. So, yan. Samuel. Sir Samuel, is there a possibility na hindi mabayaran ang investment mo sa government bonds? Yes, there's still a possibility. No, I think we call that your sovereign risk. No, kasi ano naman, no? We saw that other countries, no, na syempre lower risk siya, pero we also saw countries who went into default. They exhausted everything that they can with their monetary system. Pero I think in the past 5 or 10 years, we saw many countries going to default. Kaya, no, na yan yung tawag, Sir Samuel, na number one, credit risk and your sovereign risk. That's why po, no, may interest rate differential yung Philippines versus the US. Mas mataas yung interest rate na ino-offer ng Philippines because of its perceived higher risk than your US government na lesser risk siya. So, yeah. So, again, there's still that possibility no matter how small it is. Okay, I hope I answered your question. Ayun, very direct. No? I hear another question from Sir Ramon Chito. Is AEV still undervalued? I'll have to check on that kasi I don't think that's part of our topics, no? And I don't think that is also within our coverage, no? So wala kaming fundamental target price on that. What I suggest to you, Sir Ramon Chito, is when you log into your FirstMetroSec platform, you can go to research, type in mo yung AEV, may makikita po kayo doon sa gilid na consensus. So doon sa consensus, makikita mo po doon what, no, kasi kami wala kaming view sa kanya, hindi namin siya covered. But there are other brokerages naman or research houses na may insight sila on AEV. And makikita mo yun doon sa consensus corner. So you can see there sino yung mga conservative na estimates, mababa yung target price, makikita mo rin sino yung optimistic, no? Matataas yung target price, and may average din kayo makikita doon. So I recommend you look more into the low or the average, tapos check nyo po yung current market price niya kung saan siya nag-fall doon sa consensus. So, yan. So, I hope I answered your question. Please use our platform. Daming tools doon. Are treasury bonds available sa FMS platform during during offer periods if we take part doon sa bond offer na yon? But I think we've been participating since RTB, no, Retail Treasury Bond Tranche 24. No? I think yun yung earliest na treasury bond ko, RTB 24. So may mga premium bonds pa nga noon, no? Yeah, couple of years back. So RTB 24, so we have been participating for the past 6 or 7 tranches. So yun. For now, online yung process. Punta kayo sa Bureau of Treasury na website during the offer period. There's just an online form there. Tapos piliin nyo lang po si FirstMetroSec as your settlement bank. Tapos yung payment nyo will be made through FirstMetroSec. Confirm nyo lang yung order, it will be debited to your FirstMetroSec account. Tapos pag list ng RTB, makikita nyo na siya sa platform nyo. So that's why makikita nyo sa portfolio, may bonds doon. That's your retail treasury bonds or mga corporate bonds. Okay, I hope I answered, no? I'm happy, daming questions nila mga sana daming questions, no? But what time is it na ba? It's already 7:56, so I don't want to keep, no? There are still 55 participants waiting. I'll just answer a few more questions. We have here Sir Rico. Sir, what UITF and mutual fund do you recommend? Yun sir, we'll need to have further discussion on that. Kasi number one, we need to know ano yung suitability ninyo, ano yung risk tolerance ninyo, what type of investor you are. Kung aggressive ka or moderately conservative ka, ibang type of mutual fund or UITF yung bagay sa inyo. And that's something that is going to be a personal discussion. Yun. I think I'll raise this right now. Ito po, if you'd like to have an online one-on-one session with me, you can contact me either via Viber. This is my company number, Viber. You can reach me out sa Viber. Better sa Viber po. Yan po yung ginagamit namin most of the time. Or you can email me, jbillones@firstmetrosec.com.ph, or you can book a one-on-one online session with me. Scan nyo lang po tong QR code na to. This will redirect you to Calendly and you can book a session with me. 30 minutes lang po. I only accept mga 4 online meetings per day. 30-minute each slot. So please give as much information as you can para ma-prepare ko in advance. Tapos, ayun, at least we get to talk on, lalo na pag ganito yung questions, ano yung mga recommendations na might be specific for you lang. No? So, ayoko nung magbigay ng general, no? Kasi what works for Sir Rico might not work for Sir Ramonchito or everyone here na nag-participate. Okay, Sir Rico, please, I recommend book a meeting with me. Kahit hindi kayo from Mindanao, I'd be happy to serve you. All right, thank you. Yan. Again, from Sir Ramonchito, DNL, yun po, again, I don't think covered namin si DNL. I don't think may target price kami sa kanya. So same po, same process. Punta po kayo doon sa consensus corner, doon sa loob ng FirstMetroSec platform. Makikita mo po doon saan yung current market price niya relative to what people are estimating DNL is. If meron. No? Kasi may ibang stocks na walang coverage talaga because probably maliit or illiquid. So, yeah. Yes, tama po kayo. Bonds are usually quarterly or semi-annual. That's correct. Yan. Philippines has almost 16 trillion in utangs. Yeah, probably, no? But in my perspective, no, okay lang naman magkaroon ng utang as long as you are able to outgrow it. No, ang challenge is pag hindi mo na outgrow yung utang mo. So that's the something that we have to manage. And we need to trust our monetary policymakers or the Bureau of Treasury because that's their job. So ayan. I'm happy na ubos ko. I hope hindi ako naubusan ng ano ng boses. No, thank you so much for your question. I'm very happy we have dami, no, 25 questions that we answered. I think meron pa nga dito sa ano sa chat box but again we don't have time to answer it. I recommended a while ago that we focus on Q&A, so yeah, but yan, I'm happy to read this later after this session. I don't want to keep you. There are 50 people here waiting to be, ano, no? Baka magdi-dinner na kayo or you need to spend time with your family. So if you need to have further discussions, please book a meeting with me or contact me via email or my Viber number. I hope I get to serve you. Okay, so ayan. No, thank you. May mga compliments pa galing mo Sir JP, no. So thank you so much but again, I'm still a student of the market but I hope I get to impart to more people. But sabay-sabay po tayong matuto, no. I don't consider myself as an expert. I'm always a student of the market and the investment world, no. So ano lang tayo, sabay-sabay tayong matuto. We're all learning as we go. All right, thank you so much everyone and have a pleasant night ahead and enjoy your dinners and happy investing everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.